Hey there, Heather. Hello, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to a OOTP Legends League video. I know it's June the 8th in the game, but June 7th, nobody played today, so there are no games today, so everyone's on a rest day. So everyone will be resting and relaxing. So we're gonna give you the leaderboards, like the top leaderboards. We're gonna show the standings and talk about the teams that are looking good and all that. Um, as you can see, the American League, John Olerud of the 93 Blue Jays leads the batting average with 392. Frank Robinson of the Orioles second, and Tris Speaker of the Red Sox Legends third. Now, of course, when I say franchise, but I don't say the year, that's the all-time franchise team. If I say it with a year, that's a seasonal team because every franchise gets one seasonal team. Home runs, Mark McGwire with 27, crushing the AL. Frank Robinson second with 20, and Jim Edmonds of the Angels are third with 19. RBIs, F. Rob with 69, which is big. Hank Greenberg 58, RBIs, McGwire 56. I think Jimmy Fox is hurt, is he not? Yeah, I think he's hurt. He was doing so well. Kenny Lofton leads in stolen bases with 33. Ty Cobb and Tris Speaker are behind. OPS, Frank Robinson first, Ted Williams second, and Johnny Olerud third. Batter War wins by replacement. Tris Speaker of the Red Sox 4.1. F. Rob of the Orioles 3.8, and John Olerud 3.5. Hitting streak, Ed Morgan with a 23-game hitting streak. That's the longest of the season. Shane Mack of the 91 Twins 21, and 84 Tigers, Helen Trammell with 21. ERA, Justin Verlander of the Tigers leads with 2.21. Irvin Shocker 2.23. And Mike Mussina 2.4. So Baltimore's got a good pitching staff. Chief Bender, Mike Quayer, Mike Mussina, among others, with 10 wins. Randy Johnson, 115 strikeouts. J.R. Richard and Jesus Sanchez, the rookie, with 98. He's third in the American League. Saves Stefanski of the 2017 Astros with 19 saves, despite the fact there are only 2 games above 500. Papelbon of the Red Sox, 18, and Eck of the A's with 17. Pitcher winner of replacement, David Price with a 3.8 for Tampa. Justin Verlander, second. Jesus Sanchez, third. Winning streak, Chief Benders on a 12-game winning streak over 2 seasons, of course. The National League. Adrian Gonzalez of the Padres Legends at 357. He's your batting leader. Miguel Cabrera and Todd Helton are both at 351. Home runs, Prince Fielder and Eddie Matthews with 20 each. Milwaukee and Atlanta Legends. Willie Mays with 18 from the 54 Giants. RBIs, Matthews leads with 61. Cabrera second. Prince third. Stolen bases, Johnny Evers and Frank Chance of the 1906 Cubs. 1-2 as usual. Willie Tavares 29 for third. OPS, Cabrera, Mays, Helton. Willie Mays of the 54 Giants, best wins above replacement. They're 2 games above 500, by the way. Miguel Cabrera and Babe Herman even with a good number. Hitting streak, Mike Schmidt's got a 21 gamer. Andrew McCutcheon, if he gets one more hit, that's 20. Earner and average, Jack Pfister of the 1906 Cubs with a 1.9. Andy Benz of the Padres 1.91, and Matt Harrison, who Texas 07 Texas Jetsons that way. He's been having a renaissance season, in a sense. Yeah, he's having a renaissance season. Andy Benz and Tim Lincecum both with 10 wins. Strikeouts, Pedro number 1 at 86 strikeouts. That's puny between like Randy and JR, but Joy Gooden second, Sandy Koufax third. Saves, Sergio Romo of the Giants 19, John Wentland with 18, and Bruce Sutter with 17. Bob Gibson of the Cardinals Legends 3.5, Bill Niekro 3.1 for Atlanta, and Pedro 3. Lincecum's got a 10-game winning streak. Josh Johnson with 11. So that's take away the leaderboards. Let's show you the American League division rounds. Baltimore and Boston both have 44 wins, but look at Baltimore. 14 in a row. I didn't even realize that. Holy crap, they have a 14-game winning streak. That's amazing. We got to take a look at Baltimore because, like, I mean, good grief. Like, they have a massive winning streak. So we might have to do a check-in or something like that. Because they got a 14-game winning streak. St. Louis has a 13-game winning streak, as I see in the NL. The Yankees Legends, who are the defending champs, they are third place with 11 back of Baltimore and Boston. 93 Blue Jays, 84 Tigers over Red Sox bring up the rear. Central, Kansas City crushing it by 12 over the White Sox and Cleveland Legends. The White Sox, the season 1 champions. You must know. 91 Twins, 85 Royals, and 17 White Sox are your teams. 85 Royals, 16 losing streak over Red Sox losing 5, including Manny by being blown out. AL West, Oakland, the season 2 champions. They're up by 6 over Seattle and the Angels. The 2017 Astros are 9 back. 2011 Rangers, 2001 Mariners bring up the rear. In the AL North, the Blue Jays are a 7-game winning streak. They are tied with the Tigers on top of the North. Minnesota third, 5 back. 27 Yankees, 20 Indians, and the struggling 70 Orioles. Bring up the rear. The South, Houston leads Tampa by 6 and Texas by 8. The 0-2 Angels, 29 A's, and the 2020 Rays bring up the rear. 6 straight losses for the 2020 Rays. The NL East, the Mets up by 4 over St. Louis. Philly third. St. Louis has a 13-game winning streak. 97 Marlins are closing in on Philly, who are the NL champions of season 3. St. Louis is the season 2 champs, right? Yep, season 2 NL champs. And season 1 was the Pirates. 97 Marlins, 80 Phillies, and 2019 Nationals bring up the rear. Central, Cincy leads the second year, the first NL champion, Pittsburgh by 3, Cubs by 6. The 60 Pirates, 6 straight wins for Cincy. The 64 Cardinals and the 82 Brewers bring up the rear. 82 Brewers losing by straight. San Fran leads LA, nipping them by a game. LA was looking so hot. Arizona's third, 11 back. 54 Giants, 06 Cubs, and 2007 Rockies bring up the rear. The North, Montreal leads by 3 over Colorado, 6 over Milwaukee, 55 Dodgers, 86 Mets, and the struggling 75 Reds bring up the rear. In the South, Miami leads Atlanta, San Diego by 4. And the 57 Braves, 98 Padres, and 2001 Diamondbacks. They've lost 24 in a row. Are you serious? I didn't even realize that. They are really bad. They've lost 24 in a row. I did not even look at that. Fuck. Well, we'll take a step-by-step look in a while. Now let's look at the wild cards. Well, as you see, Kansas City, Baltimore, Houston, Oakland, and Toronto would be in the playoffs. Right now, Kansas City is the 1 seed, Baltimore the 2, Houston 3, Oakland 4, Toronto 5, which means that, it's 8 teams. So we have 3 wildcard teams. Boston, Baltimore, the loser of that one would join, Toronto and Detroit are tied. So it'd be Boston, Detroit, and Tampa Legends who make it. The White Sox Legends are only 1 back. Texas and Seattle Legends 2 back. The 2017 Astros are the top seasonal team, like a seasonal. Yeah, look at those 5 teams and all that. Yeah, we look at the 8 teams and all that. We got to take a look at Orioles 14 game list. I can't believe the 0-1 Arizona Diamondbacks have lost 24 in a row. How did I not see that? So we might be going shopping. Not shopping. You know what I mean. Fuck. We might be going scoreboard watching soon. So yeah, as I said, Boston, Detroit, and Tampa would be the wild cards. The NL, San Fran, Miami, Montreal, Cincy, and the Mets would be there. I don't know why the Mets are down 5. They should be tied with the Marlins. So yeah, it'd be 4 versus 5. So Oakland would play Toronto. Well, Boston would be a wild card. So yeah, Oakland would play Toronto, and it would be Montreal versus Cincy. Well, anyway, the Dodgers would get the first wild card. San Diego, St. Louis, and Atlanta. Well, St. Louis 13. They would be fighting for the second and third wild card. Colorado's 5 back. The 54 Giants are the only team above 500 in the seasonal thing, and they're ahead of the Brewers, Cubs, and Phillies, which is pretty good. So let's take a look at the teams. Kansas City first, with Willie Wilson, Mike Sweeney, George Brett, Gabriel Garcia, their hot rookie shortstop, Carlos Beltran, Jermaine Dye, John Mayberry, Frank White, and Jared Porter catching. I would put Porter with the Cardinals if I were him. Kansas City would have Jesus Sanchez, Kawika, Brett Saberhagen, Zach Greinke, and Kevin Appier as their starters. Two rookies. Appier 9-1 as the 5 guy. So yeah, we got that. Injury list, nobody. So that's why they are good. The Baltimore Orioles, 14 straight wins. George Seisler, Brian Roberts, Ken Williams, F. Rob, Boog, Cal Ripken, Brooks, Blair, and Dempsey, the main starters. Of course, you'll see some names like Seisler and Ken Williams. It's like, what year with Baltimore? Well, the Baltimore Orioles used to be the St. Louis Browns from 1901 to 1953. So Seisler and Ken come from the St. Louis Browns era. Jim Palmer, Mike Mussina, Eric Bedard, Uber and Shocker, and Mike Quay are your rotation. Shocker is the only one for the St. Louis, if you will. There's Mike Flanagan and Dave McNally. And Millsap is being forced to the bullpen. Bedard and Palmer have really struggled, but the other three have done well. Mussina, Shocker, and Quay combined 29-3. Oof. Organization, let's look at the injured list, sorry. Jim Johnson's out for 2 more months, so he'll be back in August. And he might be okay. Eddie Murray fractured thumb, he's out 3 weeks. Dude was doing quite well, but yeah, Baltimore has to fight without him. And that'll be up to George Seisler. He was a good hitter, I'm going to say. Let's look at the schedule because of the 14-game winning streak. Because we got to look at their last loss was against the Twins Legends, and then they beat them 3-2, 6-3. They swept the 93 Blue Jays in Toronto. They swept the 91 Twins on home turf. They swept the 85 Royals, and they swept the 2004 Red Sox. They've had some pretty good games and all that, but I think they'll be okay. They all face the Tampa Legends, who are fighting in the South. So what are you talking about? The Houston Legends lead the South. Baltimore leads the East. Kansas City leads the Central. Cesar Daniel, Craig Biggio, Berkman, Bagwell, Caminiti, Glenn Davis at the age, Hidalgo, Vaughn, and Osmus, your main starters. J.R. Richard, Mike Scott, Roy Oswald, Shane Reynolds, and Don Wilson, your rotation. It's kind of a weird rotation in the middle, and Don Wilson's 8-1 as the 5. We'll picture. Houston does not have Xavier Hernandez. He's out 4 to 5 months, so he's practically out till November. And he was okay. He was okay, but that flexor elbow. I think Houston might just dump Xavier Hernandez out the door. I would just dump him out. I would just dump him if you're allowed to dump him out. Xavier Hernandez and give somebody a chance to pick him up. But yeah, 45 months, like, you don't have the patience for him. And he's probably not coming back. I wonder if you can release him. Yes, you can. So Xavier Hernandez will be released. He might as well. Well, he's hurt. I don't know who would pick Xavier up. Oakland leading the West. Ricky Henderson, Nap Lachois, Jimmy Fox is there, but he's slowed down. That's unusual. McGuire DHing Giambi at first. Al Simmons, Successful, Miguel Tejada, and Terry Steinbach, your main guys. Lefty Grove, Rube Liddell, Chip Bender, 10-0. Eddie Plank and Tim Hudson. Cito and Mulder should be probably chasing Hudson for that 5 slot. But the problem is that you got 3 lefties already. Injury list, Reggie Jackson will be back this week. 3 days with a rotator cuff strain. That's why Seibold is in the starting lineup. But yeah, Oakland's got Reggie coming back in 3 days, so that's going to be huge. Then the Blue Jays leading the North. Well, tied for the North, but they lead. Robbie Alomar, Jose Batista at third base. I would probably put him at DH. Joe Carter, Carlos Delgado, Oliver DHing, Devo, Sean Green, Tony Fernandez, Buck Martinez. Rotation, Halliday not doing so well. Jimmy Key, David Wells, Dave Steve, and Juan Guzman. Like, Pat Hankin and James Clancy probably will be aiming for Guzman's job. I probably would put Pat Hankin as the 5-hole pitcher. But I don't make those decisions. Injury list, nobody. That's the good news for Toronto. Boston in one of the wildcard spots, Tris Speaker, Nomar, Ted Williams, Big Papi, Rice, Lynn, Pedroia, Fisk, and Jimmy Collins, your main starters. Clevin's not really doing that well. Young, Smokey Joe Wood, 10-1 in the 3-hole. Wakefield and Leicester. Injured list, Ruben Melendez out 10 months. So he's pretty much done too. Yeah, they are allowed to release him. Become the chairman of the board. Well, not anymore. Boston's got rid of Melendez. Someone's gonna have to take a chance on him and all that. The Tiger Legends, second wild card. Ty Cobb, Geringer, Greenberg, Cash, Heilman, Bobby Higginson, Trammell, Daryl Evans, Bill Freehan, your starters. Verlander, Scherzer, Budding, Newhouser, Morris, the rotation. Scherzer's 3-4, which is unusual. I don't think they have anyone who can take over. Injured list, clean. And the last team, Tampa. Well, they play Baltimore. That's going to be a tough game because Baltimore's on fire. Tampa's fighting in the South. Crawford, Greg Vaughn, Longoria, Jose Canseco, okay, Huff, Dave Martinez, remember him? Jason Bartlett, Iwamura, I want to say Iwakuma for some reason, and Navarro. Scott Casimir, David Price, Matt Garza, Jeremy Helkson, and James Shields. Kind of an average rotation, if you ask me. Injured list: Ben Sobis will be out till September with a severe hip strain. 25 home runs last year. So that's why, like, Iwamura has to play, and Julio Lugo will be out for at least a week. He'll be back. 150 games. Lugo will be back. So that's good news for Tampa. Sobers and Lugo will be back for the week. We look at the National League. San Francisco, top team. Robbie Thompson at second. Not really memorable. Bill Terry DHing from the old days. Willie Mays, Barry Bonds in the same field. Wow. Willie McCovey, Kevin Mitchell, Mel Ott, Puzzler Posey, and Travis Jackson. Really, the rotation: Mathewson, Marisol, Jason Schmidt doing pretty well. Carl Hubble and Tim Lincecum. Joe McGinty should be up there, but what do I know? Injured list: Gary LaFell out 2 to 3 weeks with a shoulder inflammation. He was doing well. He did well last year, 6-2 with 2 saves. So once LaFell comes back, the Giants should be okay. And Orlando Cepeda, intercostal strain. He only played 4 games last year. 4 home runs in 4 games. He had 3 home runs in 12 games before the strain, but he'll be back in the starting. Probably won't be the starter, but Cepeda will be back. That should help San Francisco. The Marlins: Hanley shortstop, Derek Lee, Mika Cabrera, Stanton, Sheffield DHing, Kotze, Lowe, Infante, and Charlie Johnson. Beckett, Josh Johnson, Brown, Burnett, and Willis in the rotation. Injured list: Moises Alou, high ankle sprain. He'll be back in a week. 133 games last year, 59 RBIs. But yeah, Alou will be back. No big deal. Matt should be third. Jose, Reyes, Hernandez, Pizza, Strawberry, Kent, Bonilla, DH, Cleon, Hojo, and Ashburn. Are you mean guys? Hojo. Gooden, Seaver, Dickey, Cone, Sid. Your rotation. John Franco. Injured list: David Wright will be out 3 weeks, third base. 13 RBI. Well, yeah, 85 RBIs last time. Clyde Harrison, a torn quad. He was the main shortstop. He'll be back in a week. Yeah, Hojo and Reyes. Montreal, and that Rain, Soriano, Guerrero, Dawson, Nick Johnson, Carter, Staub, will stop DHing, Wallach, and Hubie. Main roster: Pedro, Strasburg, Dennis, Gio, and Steve Rogers. Your rotation. Rogers really struggling. Pascal Perez could come in, but I don't know. Injured list: nobody. Good news for Manila. Be good to see Toronto and Montreal in the playoffs. Cincy got some Morgan, Pete, Fotto, Clue, Davis, O'Neill, Larkin, Bench, and Aaron Boone at third base. Vandermeer, Maloney, Rijo, Soto, Cueto. Yeah, the back end does not look good for Cincy. Front end, loaded. Tony Cristiano, he'll be back. He'll be back shortly. 19 games. I don't know. Do they need him? Maybe on the bench they do. Dodgers, wild card, Dodgers. Jackie, Matt, Herman, Schneider, Garvey, Gill, hey Steve, Campy, Say, and Pee Wee. Koufax, Nomo, Kershaw, Fernando, and Dazzy Vance in the rotation. Hey. And Drysdale should be a starter, but whatever. Injured list: Pedro Guerrero will be out for at least a month. He was doing decent. Well, this year he was doing good. Bill Russell out a few weeks. He was out early last year. That's why Pee Wee came in. But Bill Russell should be out. It should be Pee Wee. The Padres: Templeton, Gwynn, Nevin, McGriff, Agon, Winfield, Giles, Randy, Reddy. Tenants. PV, Bennis, Lattles, Hurst, and Hamilton, the starters. Andy Ashby should be up there, starter and all that for maybe Hamilton. But Hamilton's 4-1. Randy Jones should be up there. Injured list: Benito Santiago out with a torn labrum, out for the year. So their catching prospects are weird. You got Tennant and Pancho Trillo, who's 18 years old. He'll have to play more games. Perish the thought. St. Louis, we've got 13-game winning streak. Ozzy, Rogers, Mize, Pujols, Medwick, Hafey, McGee, Torrey, and Pendleton. Gibson, Dizzy, Wainwright, Tudor, Carpenter, your rotation. Cooper. Injured list: Harry Breachin out 2 to 3 months, so he'll be out till maybe August. So he hasn't played yet. And I think he hasn't played yet. I don't think they really need him. No, they don't need him. So they're going to release him. Yeah, he hasn't played. So, yeah, he hasn't played. So Breachin is going to come. So Breachin is going to be released by the Cardinals legends. You might as well. Ken Boyer out with a broken kneecap, out for the year. He was, yeah, I think was he hurt last year too? Yeah, in August, he was out 4 weeks with an intercostal strain last April. He was out a month with a strained oblique in June, and then a fractured foot in August, out for a month and a bit. So yeah, this guy's been injury prone to the hilt. And Stan the Man will be out for a week. 64 hours and 112 games. Music will be back. No big deal. Oh shoot, I forgot to check the 13-game winning streak. They'll play Arizona, who's fighting for a spot. They swept Philly, okay. They swept the Braves last month, and their last loss was to the 75 Reds. They won the nightcap. They took down Brooklyn, although all 3 games needed extra innings, and then they took out the Reds. So yeah, yeah, yeah. And the Braves tied for that last playoff spot. Giles up top with Matthews, Aaron, Chipper, Rico, Javi, Adcock, Furcal, and Jones. Necro, Spawn, Millwood, Glavin, and Saint are your things. Spawn and Saint, pray for rain, baby. Injured list: Greg Maddox, torn elbow ligament. He'll be back in a week. Yeah, he was 12-9. He was doing so well, and then his ligament. So yeah, when Maddox comes back in the lineup, Atlanta's going to have a good pitching staff. And I think Stain will probably be sitting on the bench, by my guess. And who do you knock off for Atlanta? And Arizona, by far the worst team in the league. The 29 A's and 2020 Rays are the only American League teams without 20 wins. The 82 Brewers and the 01 Diamondbacks. 24 straight losses. How? I mean, Lugo looks good. Yeah, the rotation looks crap. Especially when you have a guy like Beyond Kim, who's now the number 5 starter. Matt Manti is above 500. Everyone else just sucks. If I were the 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks, I applied for federal relief. They take on the 80 Phillies. They got swept by the Pirates. One of the 3 losses was brutal. Was not brutal. The 06 Cubs, they did lose by a couple on the Tuesday, on June 2nd. Their last W was against the 86 Mets. Against the Padres legends, they did make it close, but they ran out of time with only 2 runs in the last game. Against the Marlins, they had a 10-inning game. They lost in Miami, but then lost 18-7 in the next one. And then they lost 24-13 to Milwaukee. That's a football score. Lost 20-5 to them. Milwaukee put up 20 runs in 2 games against them. And then on the 21st, they only lost 4-1 against the 60 Pirates, One close loss at the end. Against the Rockies legends, they lost the first game closely, but then got outswept 12-3 and 12-1. Against the Mets legends, they really got outswept. So yeah, these guys have got to win sometime. Their 200 winning percentage would make them the worst team around, and that's saying a lot. So anyway, that's all I've got for this video, and enjoy things when you can. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.